YouTube. Welcome back or welcome to my channel if this is your first time. This is my channel Pixie Dust and Spirit Alchemy, where we talk about all sorts of things: taboo, strange, occult, mysterious, mystical, you name it. I am in my new sort of setup. I'm trying to still figure out like how I'm gonna do videos. I like this area, so we'll see. This is a wall in my bedroom. I just want to first start off by saying thank you guys for your patience for me not getting videos out as much in the last month. I did move into a new house, or new to me house, and y'all, it has just been like such a blessing, honestly. I'm much more content here than where I was previously. And for those who watch any wealth magic videos or anything like that, I do believe that this new house, this new living situation has been a result, I'm going to just turn that lighting down, has been a result of wealth magic. And because it was something that I never planned, never expected to happen the way it's worked out. But that being said, it was something better than I ever could have planned. It was something divine, I believe. It was a blessing and a result of wealth magic. But that being said, today's video is not going to be about any wealth magic topics or any magical topics even. Today's video, I'm going to be dropping some truth bombs about twin flames and talking about how my journey has sort of unfolded so far, and also why I ended up unsubscribing from the twin flame label. So let's get started. If you guys haven't seen my twin flame video from like 3 years ago, check it out if you want. At that time I was still in separation with my twin, and I am still in separation with my twin. So, but back then I was, finding clarity for myself, I guess, as far as the relationship dynamics and the divine masculine and the divine feminine roles. And coming to terms and accepting and learning about the divine masculine part within me. When I first met my twin flame, it was in 2015, I believe. Yes, 2015. So that's 7 years ago, right? And when I first met her, I'll describe our first time meeting each other in person, because we matched on Tinder, as, like, when I looked into her eyes for the first time, it was as though I was looking at myself. When I was a kid, I always wanted a twin, just like an identical twin, who looked just like me, but was the complete opposite of me. And when I met my twin flame and I looked into her eyes for the first time, that's what I saw, essentially. I saw myself, but the opposite of me, the mirror of me. So, as twin flames do, we fell in love really quickly and all that, and then it ended abruptly just as fast. I was the chaser in this dynamic of the runner-chaser, that we've got going on in the twin flame world. And I chased for a long time. I chased for probably at least 5 years. And that's not to say that I didn't date other people or anything. But for a long time I did hold on to just this hope that we would be, getting back together, and that maybe I should put my other relationships, I shouldn't date anybody else seriously, because in the back of my mind I had this twin flame, because I'm like, well, we're twin flames, we're gonna end up together. So, regardless of whatever's going on, even though we don't, even though she doesn't pay me the time of day right now, and there's no contact, and we live in different cities, like, fantasy. It was a fantasy in my head. And I did not realize that for a long time. I was just like, how could this, this love, and this such complex relationship just end so suddenly for me? And, I would get into these twin flame rabbit holes, because there's a bunch out there, and I would just look for any sort of hope or other people's stories that say, oh yeah, we split up and then got back together, blah, 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 lived happily ever after, because I couldn't picture my life later on with anybody else besides my twin flame. And what I was picturing with my twin flame, though, was also fantasy. Because is that what was happening in front of me at that time? Absolutely not. No. It was me going into rabbit holes finding information which may or may not have been true from other spiritual people out there on the internet. And even if it was true, for them, I wasn't doing myself any favors by looking up this information, because it would just make my reality unclear, and it would take me away from the present moment. And today, I consider her a blessing in my life. I believe, it could be said equally on her end too, that we are blessings in each other's lives, because the energy when we're together is magical. I mean, it's nothing short of divine, even if it's not a romantic relationship. Regardless of how much time goes by in between seeing each other, when we do get back together, it's just we pick up those roles where we left off, whether as friends or as, whatever the case may be. In more recent times, it's just been friends. So, and throughout those years, maybe 2015 to 2018, anytime I'd see her, I'd like, oh, she's gonna, fall back in love with me, blah, blah, blah. And that didn't happen. And that was fine. And what I didn't realize back then was how little attention I was paying to myself. How long it really took me to start doing the work that we're supposed to be doing, when we enter this twin flame journey. Because one of the main points that literally probably all twin flame articles or information places that you'll find information on twin flames will say, when you are involved in this twin flame journey, when you meet your twin flame, the goal, the point is to have this person reflect back on you, basically what needs to be worked on. And only then, after you do the work, when you're in separation or whatever, and you meet your highest self within and become a whole being without the idea of thinking that somebody else is here to complete us, then you're ready to enter a twin flame relationship. So I wasn't doing that. I didn't do that for a long time. And in Halloween actually of 2020, I burned all the letters that I wrote to my twin flame. I wrote a bunch of love letters, of just these dreams and hopes and blah, blah, blah. And I kept them in the back of my closet, in a folder for way too long. And, even when I was dating other people, in a relationship, committed to other people, up until 2020, I had it in the back of my mind that, this was only a temporary relationship, and I'd be getting back together with my twin flame, so I couldn't invest all of myself. And how unhealthy of a mindset is that, first of all? Because then I'm not present for that person in front of me, or at least not all the time, and I'm really not allowing things to unfold naturally. So what I've learned along the way is that twin flames are mirror souls, and I have had to unsubscribe myself and let go of and remove, cut the cord, cut the ties from any and all twin flame labels. Because when people hear twin flame, they're like, oh my god, like my twin flame, like my person, my other half, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, just no. Stop right there, because in my experience, I matched that excitement years ago. When I met my twin flame, it was magical and otherworldly, and it involved my spirituality, and all this great stuff happened that before the dark stuff happened. And I went in too many rabbit holes to the point, where it was just obvious. Like, I would see my twin flame entering these other relationships, whether they were good or not. And when they were not good relationships, I would be even more upset, because I was like, well, don't you understand that, if we're together, this will be the best relationship ever? Even though at that time, I didn't have a car, and I didn't have, this, and I wasn't, financially stable, whatever. And so realistically, it's just fantasy. It was all fantasy. So I had to detach. And I had to change my perspective on my twin flame from the twin flame, from my twin flame, my end-all be-all, that's who I'm going to end up with, to another mirror soul. And if you think about it, everybody that we come in contact with, everybody that we have a relationship with, whether friendship, romantic, family, all those people are mirrors that reflect back to us a quality or qualities within ourselves. And what I learned from my twin flame journey, relationship, excuse me, is that my twin flame would trigger me more than anybody else. And the things that she triggered in me, which were completely unknowing that she was triggering on her end, were the things that, within me that needed to be worked on the most. I just spilled water all over my paper. It's fine. And I guess in the last 2 years, really the last year, I finally did the work. You know, done the work. I finally started like doing all that healing and whatever I needed to do, and got to a point where I was whole within myself, and I was living my life, doing my thing, you know, whatever that was or is at this time or that time. And let's say, okay, so like earlier this year, I hadn't seen my twin flame in 4 years. I hadn't seen her since 2018. And she had moved to another place. We'd been, you know, we'd texted back and forth a little since then, talking about meeting up and whatever. It never worked out, yada yada. And then, so I hadn't seen her in 4 years. And then earlier this year, I reached a point sort of in my like spiritual awakening and my journey where I was confident in my path, in myself, and I was completely okay with the idea or, you know, possible fact that the twin flame relationship might not be my destiny. Like if I never end up with that person, if we never get the chance to, you know, live together and play out, be twin flames and fulfill all these fantasies I've had in my head, that's okay. I had found peace with that. Because I had found peace within myself, finally. After 7 years. It took 7 years. Doesn't probably take everybody that long. But for me, it took 7 years. And as I said, that was also with like other relationships in there. So it wasn't just always this runner-chaser twin flame dynamic. But we never so far have had that relationship that everybody dreams about. You know? And what they don't tell you when you start to get into twin flame, you know, culture, I guess, is that better relationships do and can exist beyond the twin flame relationship. The twin flame concept has become so glorified, I believe. Over-glorified. It's like what soulmates were, you know? Everybody used to be like, oh, I want a soulmate. And then they found out you can have multiple soulmates. And then they found out about twin flames. And that was like the top tier. And if you meet your twin flame, like you're enlightened and you're doing great and you've got a divine destiny and yada yada and blah blah blah. They don't talk about what's beyond that. They didn't talk about what happens when your twin flame relationship never works out. Maybe my twin flame and I are just meant to cross paths with each other every 2 to 4 years and be blessings in each other's lives and still important roles regardless of having a romantic relationship. Maybe we'll go our whole lives and when we're 80 we'll get together. You know? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. And I realized that I needed to stop trying to figure out what was going to happen. I needed to stop trying to play God. I needed to stop trying to predict the future because I can't predict the future. And honestly, if I could predict the future, that'd be pretty lame. Because what usually happens in the future for these things is better meant for us than what we even thought at that time. So now, fast forward to present day, current day. Well, I guess rewind a little bit to a few months ago. I went to Austin, and for visiting family, and I just like happened to text my twin flame, because she lived down there, and I was like, you know, if you're around, I'd love to see you. Let's get together. She texted me back, and anyways, long story short, we met up that day, and it was really an important day for me because I was meeting some family of mine that I hadn't ever met before, and that was really important to me. And afterwards, I went to see my twin flame. And really, all that happened, we had planned to get dinner somewhere, and I called her after I was done and on the way, and she didn't answer, and I was like, I'm driving there, so, like, where are you? And she didn't answer. And then I called again, didn't answer, called again, and she finally answers, and she was drunk. And I won't, I'm not going to ever give out her name or anything. I won't give too much of her personal story or anything. But whatever, like, she'd been drinking that night, and I guess drank too much, and so I still went over, but it was like a wild goose chase. Like, I had to, like, not hunt her down, but she would, like, she sent me the wrong address to her apartment. She sent me to, like, this freaking taco casa, and I was just like, why am I doing this right now? Why am I going to see my twin flame? Honestly, because I was single, I had nothing to lose, and she's a good energy for me to see regardless. So I saw her, and, it was good and fine and dandy. We just, like, talked, and we didn't like, sleep together. We didn't even kiss. But at the same time, the little bit of time that we did have together, it's almost just like I was reunited with, like, my childhood best friend. Like, the energy that we're in together when we are together is, like, is pure and innocent, and it's just like hanging out with myself, and I loved every moment of it, and I know she did too. She was happy to see me, regardless of her being drunk. She was a little upset that she was, like, that drunk and stuff, but whatever. And that also being said, on her side, and then, other factors on my side just indicated to me at that time that, like, we're still not ready for that relationship. And like I said, maybe a twin flame relationship isn't even in the cards for me, and if it's not, that's okay. But I'm grateful to have met my twin flame, because after meeting my twin flame, my spirituality catapulted. It just, like, so, except not down, it went, like, flying. And I can thank her for a lot of who I am today. She might not even know that. And I don't know what her thoughts are, about if we're going to get together one day. But I don't chase anymore. After leaving her house that night and going home and everything, it was just, I was happy with where we had left things. I was grateful that because it had been 4 years, or even though it had been 4 years, when we did see each other again, it was beautiful and, just as fun and good and happy and as it was all the previous times, except when things weren't good. And I went home with that peace, and I didn't chase her. She really didn't give any effort in pursuing me, so I let it go. And this all happened after I had already intentionally unsubscribed from the Twin Flame label. Just threw that name out of my head. Just threw it in the trash. Because I had put it on too high of a pedestal where other things should have taken priority, like myself, my spiritual relationship with my higher power and such. Whatever else is important to me. And thankfully, now 3 years since having made the video that I made previously on Twin Flames, at that time, I was still fantasizing about my twin flame. Even though we were in separation and I was okay with that, in the back of my mind it was still there. Like, oh, we're going to be together one day. It's just going to happen. I just know it because we're twin flames. And now, 3 years later, I can just safely and confidently say that thought is not in my head anymore. I'm no longer going to force things. I'm no longer going to, get into these twin flame rabbit holes that talk about, I give you false hope. And I spent way too much time doing that, and I don't know if anybody else can relate. I'm sure some people might. And literally, actually do that work on ourselves by meeting our highest self and coming into tune with that at all times. Only then is a healthy, successful twin flame relationship going to manifest. Right now, I have had other relationships that have been almost as mind-boggling. You know, as far as like the depth of emotion or the connection, you know? And like currently, I'm not dating my twin flame. I'm dating somebody else. And that relationship is a beautiful thing, because for the first time, I'm meeting somebody where I am a whole person. You know, I'm not entering a relationship for that person to complete me, or because she's my other half or whatever. No, it's because we're two wholes coming together that enjoy, you know, each other's time and want to be together for that. She doesn't complete any part of me. I don't chase her. She doesn't chase me, you know. And there's no longer the thought of getting back together with my twin flame. Removing myself, detaching myself from that label was probably one of the best and healthiest things that I could do for myself, because it allowed me to move forward. It allowed me to make room for that healing. It allowed me to let go of that attachment. And that is the key. Really, for everything. Letting go of attachment to all our previous beliefs. Throwing those thoughts away. Including the twin flame relationship. My notes are all jumbled because of the water that spilled. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to really get this video out there, because I'm not saying that twin flames don't work out. You know, I hope that's not the message that I conveyed in this, because I love my twin flame. I do. She is a very special person in my life, and I will always love her, even if we're not ever in a romantic relationship. You know, I consider her a friend, and she considers me one too. I wanted to share my experience, so for anybody else that can relate out there, you know, don't drive yourself crazy with it, because I did, and it's not fun. I can guarantee you it's not fun to drive yourself crazy. So that being said, that's all I really want to do. I don't want this to be too long, so thank you guys for watching. I'm so excited. This is literally the first video that I'm recording in my new house, or new space. And I think I actually like this little setup, so I might keep it here now. But if you guys have any questions, any further questions about my twin flame relationship, about stuff going on in your twin flame relationship, you know, message me on Instagram, leave a comment. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the algorithms. People don't just say that because they want attention, but it helps the algorithms, and for people trying to be on YouTube, it, like, you know, helps out. And if you like it, then show some support. I hope everyone is staying safe and happy and healthy, and because we are continuing to live in some crazy times out there, but there's ways to find peace. So until next time, guys.